go through. So, but again, welcome everybody.
Welcome. So our agenda today, we have some business to handle. Do you all want to try to handle the business first, like I have on the agenda? Or would you like to handle it at the end and start the discussion?
This is Alicia Pierce.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention, as you were saying about the time frame, I just wanted to say I don't think the time frame is the problem. I just, in some discussions with some individuals that have initially started coming, there is some concern with um, what is really the point. That's what some people have said. They're not really understanding, is something really going to, because and you have to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh, People go to events and go and be a part of organizations all the time that say, here's our goal, here's our mission, here's our vision, and it really don't carry out. And
Mhm.
around here, that's what happens in some instances. So people just kind of like, man. So I think because we've had a slow start, it has made individuals assume that it's really just going to be another one of those organizations. So I would encourage that we do get organized and start really being very focused and specific on what we're trying to accomplish, because we're in like our third or fourth meeting and a lot of people still are unsure about that.
Okay.
And so because of that, that is why I think some people have now no longer connect, not because of Friday at this time.
Okay.
So I just wanted to mention that.
Well, I think that that's fair. I think
And
that's fair. Yes.
yeah, I agree with what she's saying, but Friday from 3 to 5, I don't think that's the best time. If anybody going out of town, if you want to leave, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of those persons that kind of committed to trying to support this effort, but Friday, I personally think Friday from 3 to 5 is, there's some better times than Friday from 3 to 5. I love y'all and all that good stuff, but it is Friday from 3 to 5.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can have a discussion, or we can maybe do a doodle poll. I don't know if you all are familiar with that. And we can ask each people what time would be the most advantageous for everybody. I know that there's a lot of work that happens early in the morning in Goldsboro. And then I know there's a lot of work that happens in the evening. And I know that we have some people that actually have like real jobs during the day. So, but I'm willing to accommodate whatever you all would like, whatever you need, probably even more than that.
May I speak?
Sure.
All right. I agree. We need to go ahead and get organized and get to this. In terms of the days that we can meet, let's go ahead and, in the chat or, by survey or whatever, go ahead and see what days most of us can attend. And, it may be the case that I may go out of town next Friday. So or next, next meeting, if the meeting's on that day. So I think what we need to do is go ahead and, see about that, but also we need to kind of like, see how we're going to have votes, who's going to be the chair or chairs, and, how we're going to proceed, because, time is burning and we need to get at this. Okay.
Okay. All right, so with that, I think we should go ahead and have our discussion. First, let's introduce our new co-chair, if that's okay.
I guess you're talking about me.
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Curtis Stackhouse. I'm one of your district court judges here in Wayne, Little and Green counties. A few of you I know. The reason to begin, I wish I'd had my computer set up. I just switched offices because of, unfortunately, Judge James retired suddenly, which was a shock to us all, and still a shock to us here at the courthouse. I'll tell you that. Today was her last day up on the bench. In the courtroom, she'll be around the next week and a half through May, but today was her last day. So I went there to see her and see her on the bench. And you can tell that she realized it was her last day. I'm born and raised here in Wayne County. I went to school at NC State in North Carolina Central for law school, class of '09, came back here and served as an assistant district attorney for 7 years, and then was elected as one of your district court judges since January 1st of 2017. Erica asked me to, upon her deciding to retire, she turned to me to ask me if I was interested in being a part of this group. And when she explained to me that we had a grant for $100,000 that could be used to help combat racial disparity in juvenile courts, well, that spoke to me. I've been in juvenile delinquency court for a couple of years now, and I've certainly quite often walk in there, and the first thing you notice is the racial disparity in the courtroom. And so whatever we can do to combat that. Money doesn't answer everything, but maybe if we can get some answers from this data that eventually gets analyzed and it can tell us something where we can perhaps put that money to good use, then I'm all for that, and I'm all a part of being a part of this process if we can get that analyzed, that data analyzed. So that's why I'm here, and I'm eager to be here. I just did my first meeting, of course, and I hear already some, I guess. What's the word? Frustration with the speed of the process. And I've seen that frustration with Linnea and with Mike West and with Erica. So I'm hoping maybe we can move things along and make some decisions once we get some information, some answers from this data.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you have some big shoes to fill, but I think you
I know
got
I do.
the right spirit. You got the right spirit and energy for the work. So thank you for joining us. I'm excited. So next we have the community vice chairs nominations. So how would you all like to handle this conversation? I have gotten 5 nominations. Mary Reese, Ray Burrell, Mark Colebrook, Francine Smith, and Dr. David Craig.
I would say, this is Alicia Pierce speaking.
Yes.
I would say that only the individuals that are here in the meeting out of that 5 should be considered. Because if they didn't even show up this time, then yeah, they didn't even show up. And I know one of them, not to share her business, I think is moving.
Okay. Okay. So Mary Reese. So how do people feel about that? Before I definitely move on and take that and go, that's what we're gonna do. How do people feel about that?
I'm in agreement.
Okay.
I am as well.
Okay.
As long as nobody has reached out to specifically state that they're interested but couldn't be here for some particular reason, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. So that would mean Mary Reese would be off the list. If we have consensus, can I see thumbs up, thumbs down? At least for right now, that'll be my thumbs up, thumbs up,
She's
thumbs up.
moving this weekend anyway. She won't be part in the community, so.
Mary Reese?
Yes.
Okay. All right. How about Ray Burrell?
I spoke with Mr. Burrell yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And at this point, he's trying to enjoy his retirement a little bit more.
Okay.
He didn't indicate to me that he wanted to serve, so I don't know who nominated him.
Okay.
But they probably should have spoken with him.
Okay, so I should take him off the list, okay? And Mark Colebrook is here, correct? And Francine Smith is not here, correct?
I don't see her on the screen.
Okay, just making sure. Some people have different names listed as themselves. And Dr. David Craig is here.
He is here, and from my, just again sharing, this is Alicia Pierce. He has been here on the onset for every meeting that you've had.
Yes. So with that in mind, so we have 2 people who are here present. Correct? Of this list of 5?
Yes.
Yes.
So how would you all like to handle that? Do you all want to do by consensus and say these 2 people are now going to be our new community vice chairs? Or would you like to vote? How would you all like to handle this?
Are you saying you can have 2 chairs?
Yeah, I feel very, well, let me say, what would you like? That's the better question. What would you
Yeah,
like?
I thought the original discussion was 2. And
Yes.
that would kind of be under myself and Judge Stackhouse in case we can't make it, at least we've got a committee member. So I think it was originally discussed that we were going to go with 2. And I'm comfortable with that.
Absolutely. I think that's great if both are willing to serve.
Now, I have one more question, and
Yes.
I respect in my own way both of these gentlemen, but is this a is this a grant for our county, or is this a grant for our state?
It is a grant for the county and the city.
And should the individuals be residents of the county or just work in the county?
I'll leave that up to you.
Well, I just have to be real honest. I say all the time, I feel like, because you remember, as a resident, you pay taxes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna just tell the truth. I personally feel a way about individuals that have a strong voice but don't put no finance into the county with their taxes while I'm paying mine. So I'm just being real honest. I can't help but be who I am.
Okay.
And as far as I know, only one of them helped pay taxes in this county along with myself.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying that you want to have some additional parameters and selection? Is that what you're telling me? Make sure I'm translating correctly.
I just feel, and I'm gonna say it again,
Okay.
I feel like individuals that should hold, that's why I asked you, was it a county or a state? If it's a county thing, I think that when it comes to paying county taxes or city taxes, if the individuals that are gonna hold positions or have a strong voice at a table, they should be helping pay into this. I mean, but that's why I asked you, what kind of grant is it?
The grant is technically the grant is a state/federal pass-through grant.
Okay. Then
if that's the question you're asking me, then for sure
then I guess
from the Department of Justice.
Then I guess it doesn't matter if the individual is a resident of this county or not. Then that's all I was asking.
Okay.
Because I really do. I mean, that, like I said, that's just my personal opinion always. But my personal opinion don't direct, or it just does not make I guess the law for anything.
All right.
Well, I don't think that so first of all, let me say this. I never think that we are done. This is a group that will continue to evolve and grow. So while we might make a decision today, and a year from now, 9 months from now, we might go, this decision needs to evolve to meet this need. Okay. So I'm okay with whatever. And if there's some particular reason or whatever, and if you need to talk to me offline about it, I'm okay with that too. I just want you to make sure that you say whatever your concerns are, and if we can address them, and if they're consequential to the work that we're trying to do, then they should be raised. Okay. So don't ever feel bad about bringing up an issue or a question or a concern. And again, I'm available via email, and we can have a private conversation if that needs to happen. But for the purpose of this, and I say this to you all collectively, you all are making the decision about what you want, what you think is going to be most advantageous, what you think is going to get you the most buy-in, what is going to get you the most support for the work that you all are trying to do. That's it from Linnea's perspective. That's all I care about. Okay. So, but you feel free to have a discussion amongst yourselves about how you want to do it. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Normally, we would be in a room and Linnea would say, this is all I can tell you. And then I would step back.
Yeah.
We're on Zoom, so it kind of looks like I'm telling you what to do. So go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly definitely understand, where she's coming from with the payment aspect of it. But if we're looking, for diverse ideas and, with that being said, then the selection of the committee should have only been people that were paying. You see what I'm saying? And if that's the parameters, then those are the only people that you should have solicited. But that wasn't part of the solicitation. You see what I'm saying? So at this juncture, you can't delineate it down and say, well, these are the parameters. So it's basically saying, well, I want your time and energies and effort, but not really when it comes to any type of leadership. And I just don't think that's fair unless you do that in the beginning and you just say, we just want tax-paying people, part of the committee. That's just my perspective. Either way we go, that's fine. I'm just saying that when you look at it, that shouldn't be a determining factor, since it wasn't a determining factor when Judge James and Chief West solicited people to be on the committee.
If I may, all right. I understand both perspectives. Where do I land? Well, before I get to that, let me say one thing. Let's just get this out in the open. Chief West just said something. He said that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that the two vice chairs were going to be working up under myself and Judge Stackhouse or Judge Erica James. All of that needs to be fleshed out. Right now, we have concerns in our community that people who are chosen for leadership positions won't push you, but so far, Chief. And I'll be direct. Whereas I'm totally in support of law enforcement, but where we are at this critical juncture in our society and our community, I'm going to push for everything right I can get, for the community. And so there is some concern that oftentimes people are being brought to these committees that will toe the line for people in power. So I think, all of that needs to be brought to the table. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about the parameters, decision-making, whether the decision-making will be made by the full committee or the group of chairs, or you and Judge Stackhouse. If you and Judge Stackhouse are going to make the decisions, well, count me out, because I don't play that way. And, I'm not a divisive person, but when people's lives are on the line, that's why I got the education I got. That's why I chose to better myself, so I could get in here and get what my community needs. And so all of these things, they just need to be talked about, and we need to be real and have these real conversations.
So let me ask this question before we continue this. Are these points being made about deeper community trust, or because so let me say why part of the reason why I wanted community leadership and this in our decision-making process, and this is why I suggested it, is that there are definitely things that Chief West and Judge Stackhouse can do. They have a lot of power and authority and influence, and they can do a lot of great things. And by them being at the table, they say, look, the system is willing to do what we need to do, right? That's part of what their role is. But also the other part of the role that we want in terms of having the community is that the community itself says, this is what we want. And that we start to create a table for real discussion and negotiation for how we can arrive at a working place. And so I'm saying that to say what my vision or what my hope was for these vice community chairs was that these 2 or 3 or 10, whoever needs to be at the table, are sitting there regularly going, what can we do to make this process work? What are the breakdowns in the process? What do we need to do the next step in the process? Who do we need to do? Who do we need to call? I'll call such and such, I'll call such and such, and this is how we're going to move this forward. That's what those community vice chairs are going to be for. Does that make sense? At least that's my vision for them right now.
Makes sense.
Could you
Okay.
repeat that a little bit? Because I want to make sure I'm hearing everything that you're saying.
Sure.
And what I'm listening for, I want to hear that this is just not a process like some of the other processes that we've had, that we're just here, and that it's top down, and which means I might as well not be here. Okay, that we're going to have a voice. And we're not going to circumvent this from the start, and we're not going to stack this deck from the beginning, okay? Because that's what I'm trying to hear, and I think that's what people are trying to articulate right now, because we want a good process. We understand it's not going to be an easy process. Too long, things have been done in our community and from a way that's top down, where it might appear that people have some input, but they really don't. And if this is just another process like that, I really don't want to be a part of it, if you hear what I'm saying.
Oh, I hear you loud and clear.
And I
Can I
think
just say one more?
And I
Oh, go
think
ahead.
I
I'm sorry.
said, and I think this is, I think I said that a few minutes ago. I think I said that earlier, that is this really, and that's why some people have fallen off, because it looks again like it's a process that, and if you think about it, I sent you, Ms. Foster, right?
You did.
I sent you, and so I'm just gonna be who I am. I'm gonna just say it out again.
Yeah.
But this time I'm just gonna be direct. And
You just broke up on me. I don't know what happened. Are you there? Ms. Pierce, are you there?
but I'm gonna say this.
There you are. You left. We didn't hear any of what you just said. If you were saying something great.
I said I'm gonna be a part, and I am not going anywhere, because that's what happens all the time. There's a hope that we stop being a part, and then when we don't be a part, then they can do whatever they want, and that's why our community is where it is, and it hasn't changed. So the reality of it is, though, and I'm just gonna be frank. Like I said, I have nothing personally against Mark Colebrook, but Mark Colebrook, though he works in our county, does not have real, in my mind, full state. And when he said, well, they shouldn't have invited people, I think a lot of times they're inviting him because he is a worker in the county and his voice has been great. And so people assume he's a resident, but he's not. And I personally don't feel like he should be leadership. He can just be a part, but I don't think he should hold a leadership role in this capacity, along with the stuff that I sent you, because right now we need to be fair to the citizens as much as we do the police force. And and I can go into some other pieces of why I just feel like, lately there's this constant in the paper and all this polishing that our police force is great. Now, am I saying that they're corrupted? No. Am I saying that they've done things that I could give factual that they've done to people that I know or myself? No. But I know that in our community, obviously, there's some lack of trust. And if
Okay.
we're trying to build trust, the last thing we need is to keep putting our police force out there as if they're the most polished group right now. That's just where I'm at.
So let me ask you this. Is this a discussion that needs to continue and that we need to make a decision about vice chairs next month?
If I may.
Okay.
Well, again,
No.
as I said, I think that we have not been organized so far. And that's why we're losing the people that are not coming. We need to go ahead, pick a chair, start making some agendas that's going to get to what the real mission and purpose is, and
Mhm.
stop pretending like everything is gravy all the time.
Okay.
If I may.
Yes.
I think the first thing that we need to do, okay, is as a group, as an overall committee, establish who has the right to vote. All right. And by that, what I'm saying is whatever set of criteria that we come up with in terms of who has the right to vote, we then can then vote to have these vice chairs. And the bottom line is, however that vote goes, based upon that set of criteria that we decide, then the vice chairs can be chosen, and that'll be that. And, you know, as long as, but that's the first thing that we need to do, is to decide who has the right to vote in here. And going forward, you know, some people will say, well, you need to attend every meeting. Some people will say, well, you know, a person is going on vacation, they can miss a meeting. What set of criteria do we want to have to give a person a vote in this committee? I think that's the first thing, and then we can move from there.
Okay. Mr. Pittman.
Linnea, you did all of this over in Lenoir County before we started this process.
Yes.
On that question of voting members and selection of vice chairs, how did Lenoir County handle that situation?
Well, we just added a co-chair in Lenoir County. We did not add community vice chairs. However, what we did was basically consensus by, actually, we only had one nominee for co-chair. And everybody just said, yeah, it was a very, that's why I asked if it was going to be consensus, or we're going to have an election, or how did you all want to do this? And what I'm hearing is that we might need to have some more discussion about this a little bit more. Ms. Ham, feel free. You're muted, by the way, if you need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to wait until you finished.
Oh, no. Oh, well, I mean, I was just saying that really quickly that, you know, in Lenoir County, we just had in general a community consensus on the chat, and we made decisions via consensus. We did not go to the point where we were voting up, voting down things in probably this quite manner, or having debate about things. However, let me say this. I've been doing community work a long time. Every community is different. Every group of folks is different. This is not unusual that there would be push and pull, dragging, you know, going back and forth. So I'm not fazed about it, but I do want to say this, that one of the things that I have learned is that it's important to let the community know at the beginning of the process that they have a say, and that they can steer the ship in the direction that they want it to go, as much as us that are in, you know, in official roles can. And I think that's what Mr. Jones, I think that's what Ms. Pierce is saying, that they want to make sure that they're not wasting their time. And I hear you, and I appreciate what you're saying. And now, Ms. Ham, that's basically all I wanted to say. Ms. Ham?
Okay, so I'm glad to be here today.
Well,
so thank you. I would like to say that I do agree we need to get to a point where we are at a consensus as to why we are here, what our real mission is. And I also want to put it out there that it's funny that I'm noticing what sounds like a little bit of mistrust uncertainty with one another, a little bit of anger even, and that's okay, because in the group, when you're forming a group, there's those 3 stages you go through: that storming, that forming, and
That's
that norming.
exactly it. We're
So we're
storming and
in the
norming.
storming phase.
Uh-huh.
We're in that storming phase. And so we're just building. And some of the issues that brought us together as a group, looking at the issues in the community, we are facing within this group right now. So
Yes.
some of those same issues, that distrust, that uncertainty amongst ourselves. So we have to build trust amongst ourselves as a group so we can go forth and this group can do what it needs to do in the community, because it's just, I mean, it's the same thing. We're dealing with the same things within our group that we're trying to deal with within the larger community, if you guys understand what I'm saying, if you're with me. So I just want to put that out there that, you know, I'm here, I'm willing to do, you know, whatever. And even though some of those feelings may come up, that as long as we just realize that's what we're feeling and we're still able to work with one another, which I think we will be able to do, then we're going to be all right.
Right.
Thank you.
I appreciate you saying that. And you were right. Another facilitator. What I will say is this. It's important. We have a group that meets leadership wise that has been meeting. Judge James, Judge Stackhouse has joined us, and Chief West. And that has been the group that I have been meeting with since the beginning of writing the grant, right? I mean, not Judge Stackhouse, you're a brand new baby to the group, but in general, we have been meeting. And then there's a core group that has been meeting. And the core group was all the MOU partners who said that they were going to be here and support and do what needed to be done to get the work done. And now the most important group, in my opinion, might not feel like it to the other folks, but for me is the community. That's the middle of my business, Southeast Community Resources. I am a community person. That is what I believe in. That's what I fight for. And I believe that the community has to be in the middle of the room, pushing things, making things happen. So it's important that you know that even if you don't necessarily have it exactly the way you want it right now, it will evolve to get there. So I don't want you to stop the process. So part of what we need, and why I'm going to push that we make a decision maybe sooner than later, is that we do need that community voice at the table as we're planning. Okay, I need that person at the table, and I want to make sure that we have diversity at the table as much as we can, and I want to push it. So, and I will say this is that if we make a decision sooner than later, it can still evolve. I believe that Judge Stackhouse and Chief West will evolve with you to meet your need. That's my opinion. And I think we can ask them to say yes or no today if they will help assist in evolving this to be even more reflective of what you need it to be. Chief West, Judge Stackhouse, I don't know if you all want to chime in before I take another comment, if you all are willing to work with us on that.
Renee, I hate to ask you to repeat part of that question because I had somebody come in that had to do with something offline, but something about change or resisting change or
no, I wasn't saying no resisting. What I was saying is that I would like to ask both of you that as we are trying to make a decision about vice chair, so that we, for our little planning purposes, have someone or people that are in those decision-making roles right now, that if we need to evolve those roles to be something else, that you two are willing to evolve with what the new decision might be. Say we need to add a third person, or say we need to, revamp what leadership looks like. Are you two willing to revamp as we need it to?
Absolutely. I'm learning this whole gig just like everybody else in this room and this chat is learning. I'm not, I'll be honest with you. I'm the one that's going to be pushing out the grant. I'm the one that's put into the grant. I'm the one that's responsible for the money. I'll be honest with you again. If I can sit and take a very small role in this and let the community and other members run this, drive this, and push this, I'm willing to do so. So we just had to start somewhere. I'm up at the top. I don't want to be at the top. I want the community to be at the top. I want the other partners to be at the top, and I take a smaller role. That's kind of where I'm at. So yes, not resisting to change, willing to do whatever it takes to make this successful. And you'll learn as we go forward. I don't say a whole lot in these meetings because I listen, and that's where I learn the most. So, not resistant to doing things different and letting this grow.
Great. Judge Stackhouse?
Yes, two things as to Mr. Jones and Dr. Craig, as to decision making. I came into this thinking that not that myself and Chief West didn't have just absolute power up to decide at the very end after long discussions what we were going to do with the money. I thought there would be community members who would also have equal voting rights to decide that, because it wouldn't make much sense then to listen to the community for months and months on end and then make a different decision as if we weren't even here listening to members of the community. So I thought when I agreed to this, I thought that there would be people beyond myself and Chief West who would have equal voting power in ultimately deciding what to do with this grant. And that being said, if we do have two additional co-chairs, that's 4 people. We may need to have an odd number of co-chairs for obvious reasons. The other thing I wanted to mention as to whether or not somebody should be a co-chair who doesn't live or reside in Wayne County or in Goldsboro. I understand that reasoning, certainly. My take is that if someone has some sort of substantial connection with this area, be it they live here or they work here, and I think Mr. Colbrook, maybe he doesn't live here in Wayne County. I guess that's the information that I'm getting from this discussion. I do know that he works at Eastern Wayne, and I'm sure he's met young men and women who've struggled. And so, anybody who's on this chat or in this meeting with us is interested in our youth, and so I don't have an issue with somebody who doesn't reside here being involved and maybe being a co-chair, because if they're in this meeting and they're involved in discussions, they're showing me that they're interested and care about what we're doing.
Okay.
And that's just my personal opinion, and I certainly respect Mrs. Pierce's opinion. It has its reasoning as well.
Mr. Colbrook. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, guys. Again, I got involved and get involved and do things within the community because it's just, things that need to be done. That's just how I've been, how I've done, and, work with all likes of people. Doesn't matter. So for me, because I want, this to be, successful, I believe in it, have been involved in it, since really 2017 when the working group got together and things like that. So I don't want that to be kind of a sticking point because I know we need to move forward. So what I'm going to do is just withdraw my name from consideration for vice chair. And that way we can move forward.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that one. Ms. Pierce?
I just want to mention that someone actually sent me a message that they felt like a woman should be a part of the leadership as we talked about diversity. I personally cannot nominate myself. I am filled to the brim. But but I guess you did have some women names that, like we said, one of them moving, but Miss Francine may not be here now, or if there's some ladies on the call that would like to step up. But there is someone that mentioned that they felt like, between the fact that the Judge Stackhouse and the Chief West is already male, that at least one of those co-chairs should be a female. And I just wanted to, because I guess everybody may not feel, like saying things out loud, but it's out there now that somebody feels that we should have a woman in one of those seats.
It is not lost on me.
I'm in the stack. As far as I'm in the stack.
You're in the stack?
Oh, yeah, I'm I
What is
want to speak.
Okay. Oh, you're in the stack, is it? Okay. I was like, what you trying to tell me?
Okay.
Are you talking about Judge Stackhouse? Okay.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, Alicia took my comment, and that was, see all these men, and no women. So we need to try to be for real and put a woman in as high as leadership as we possibly can. So
I agree. I'm a big supporter of women, being one myself. Dr. Craig? Doctor? You're muted. You giving good stuff and you're muted.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right. Some key things, we need an odd number. So obviously, we're gonna have to go beyond 3. So that means at least 5 in the totality of the, the chairs. So we can make some progress. We can have a vote today, but we can also say that either if a male is elected today, we can say that either one or both of the other positions have to be a female. Right?
Okay. It's what you all want. I can work with anybody.
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, again, Francine Smith's name was in there. Like I said, Miss Reese is moving, but Francine Smith's name was in there. I don't know. Now, the issue with that is, did she nominate herself or somebody else nominated her? And then can you really vote on her today if she's not here to say she accepts the nomination? So are there any women that are here today that are willing? Because I'm sure you can self-nominate. Are there any women that's a part? Could you ask them that if they're willing to self-nominate themselves?
Anyone?
Often does that committee meet again? Just to
We typically meet once a month. However, this meeting did not happen the way Linnea planned. So we might need to rethink that idea. Yeah. So, but for right now, we meet monthly. And I see somewhat Nancy Hodges is nominating Dustin Pittman, I believe. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, I'm sorry. I've had some trouble with my Wi-Fi, so yes.
Okay. So you've been nominated, Mr. Pittman?
So as we're kind of having an open session meeting here, I would move that we push the decision for community vice chairs until at least the next meeting. Let's get some more folks back in this meeting so that we can discuss it. If the community wants me to serve, I'm happy to do so, but also think we need more than just this group that we have here. I mean, we've had meetings that have had 30 or 40 people on them,
yeah,
primarily from the community, and I just don't think that we should have this smaller group making that decision. But if that's the case, I'm happy to serve, and I plan on sending in the name of Brandy Matthews as a community vice chair as well, and nominating her for that position.
Okay. So you're going to send me an email with that information, both of you? Is that okay? We continue to follow the same process I asked for before?
I will do so.
Thank you. So can we have a vote up, vote down for right now to, because it is now 4 o'clock.
My hand was up.
Okay, go ahead. No, it's fine.
I personally feel like your email was very informative of that you were expecting us to select someone today. And I appreciate what everyone is saying, but I feel like those of us that made the sacrifice to be here, if it means it's only a small group, could still make that decision and not have to wait for the 30 or 40 just because they chose not to show up. I think one of the ladies mentioned earlier, it's different if they emailed you with reasons why they can't be here. But if they just didn't show up knowing on the agenda that the election was going to take place, I think we are duly able to complete this election.
Okay. Dr. Craig.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that we could do is, depending upon how many people are nominated currently, we could actually have an election of 1 or 2 people today, and then 1 person or 2 people next week. We could do that. Shouldn't be a problem, but it's up to you all. I mean, democracy is messy.
It sure is, but I like it. So what I would say is that if we delay a month, you have some pros and cons for that, right? If we delay, that can mean that the people that could be working to bring our people back and bring new people to the table, that could be delayed a month. And so we have those concerns about that, but we also, I believe, in having a good consensus for the amount of people that we want to make sure are here to make decisions. So I leave it up to you. So let's have a vote real quick. Or I hate to say vote, but let's have a thumbs up, thumbs down consensus on should we postpone the vote for vice chairs for right now, or we should go forward with that. So vote up for postponing, please. We're voting to postpone, correct? Yes. One more time, making sure you're keeping it up. I didn't see enough. Thumbs up, postpone. Thumbs up for postpone. Thumbs up for postpone. I'm only seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. That is not the majority.
So that means we should be voting.
Yes, so now we're gonna vote we have 2 nominations, one of which had been rejected, right? Or has been said has been withdrawn, correct,
Yes.
Mr. Colebrook? Still?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, just
Lene,
making sure.
if you'll check your email, you have a nomination for Brandy Matthews as well.
Okay, is that for this time?
Yes.
The email was sent in before the vote.
Ah, you smart people. All right. I like this. All right, so we have 3 nominations, right? Is that what we have now? No, I have 1 for Brandy Matthews. That's it? In writing. Yes, okay. Okay, so we're ready to vote. Are we voting up, thumbs down?
Okay.
Doctor, yes?
A bit of confusion. Okay,
Yes.
now we're voting what right now?
We're voting consensus on Dr. David Craig and the other nomination, Brandy Matthews.
Okay,
Correct?
so those are the only 2 nominations that we have at this time?
Yes, that I have received in writing. Dr. Pittman, I'm growing you up. Mr. Pittman has been nominated in the chat box. And I asked that those nominations be sent to me in writing. So that's what I'm going to stay consistent on that. So but we can revisit that at the next meeting for maybe potentially the 3rd vice chair role is what I think I've heard, correct? Yes. Okay, so but we're voting on 2 right now. Yes? Make sure, don't let them, yes?
Yes,
okay.
So we can vote for both of them is what you're saying.
Yes, I'm saying, so I just got a thumbs down, Ms. Ham. Okay. So we're voting up or down, just the general up or down for Dr. Craig and Miss Brandy Matthews. Up or down? Oh, okay, I accept that. Up or down, up or down. Let me see as many thumbs up as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep them up, keep them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only having 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I think that's enough. Is it enough? 9. 9. Okay, we have 10. Whew, that was hard work, y'all. Okay, so congratulations, Dr. Craig. Congratulations, Ms. Matthews. Welcome to the leadership squad. we have at least one little monthly meeting before our meeting where I share with people the agenda. We talk about grant business, right, Chief West? Yeah, and where we're going next, and the next conversations and who we need to bring to the table. And we had some quick discussions with Judge Stackhouse, so we haven't had a whole lot. So this is actually a really good time to join because we're really formulating what's going to be happening next. So our next agenda will have this last third person, right? We will have a discussion about that at our next meeting and how we want to do this. So what has happened today, which I did not expect, I did not think this was going to happen, but I should know better. I don't know if we're really going to have a chance to have our rest of our real conversation. So I will ask you all at that next meeting how you all would like to handle having the actual youth issues discussion, since we didn't actually really get to have it today, since it's 4 o'clock. Do you all want to try to have some of that today? Or would you like to just, let's adjourn? This was a lot.
Can I get one thing clear?
Yes.
I think earlier, Mr. Jones was talking about are we doing Friday meetings, or can we just finish the rest of this discussion and then adjourn to find out time, what would be good for the next meetings and stuff like that?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
So do people want to pull up their calendars now and help me make a decision, or what times are better? Mornings, evenings, later in the evening? Did Mr. Colebrook leave? He left. Okay. So mornings, evenings, what would you like? Or do I need to send out an email again? Tell me what you'd like. How do you all would like to do this?
I'll just put it out. I'm flexible. I've done community meetings. I've done it from the house at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 6:30. I can do evenings. I can do mornings. I'm flexible. The only thing I ask, between 1 and 2:45, Monday through Friday, I'm out of place. But any other time like that, I try to adjust and be accommodating to all.
I feel the same way. I'm even willing, and I hate to say it out loud, but I'm even willing to do weekends if it needs to be that way. It hurts to say it.
Don't say it out loud, please don't.
It hurts, but I want to make sure that people get their needs met. And first of all, and let me say this before we totally move on, I'm very proud of you all for that discussion. That's hard work, what we just did. That's hard work, and it gets messy. But then we have to figure out how to bring people back and tell you thank you, and we're going to do better next time, you know? So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So so calendars, back to calendars. Sorry, I had to get sentimental for a second, sorry. How would you all like to make this discussion? How would we like to? Thursday, 3 to 5? Is that the same problem, 3 to 5?
No, again, that's fine for me.
Would it be the same third Thursday? I know we have some teachers in this group or who have wanted to be a part of it. Is 3 o'clock still okay? Are people out of school by then? Are we more likely to get the school system to be here or not if it's later or in the morning? You're muted if you're going to say something deep, Mr. Pittman.
I am. I was reaching for, I've got an unmute button on the edge of my mouth on here.
Cool.
I will say the third Thursday that usually I'm looking ahead, that kind of falls on juvenile court day. And so I know likely Judge Stackhouse and I, it depends on the day. Sometimes it rolls till 3 o'clock, sometimes it doesn't, but that could be a potential issue for having either of us here or Jerry or any of the court folks.
Okay. That was a good point. Any other
Dustin,
options?
I'm pretty good, Dustin. At 3 o'clock usually on Thursday, I think we're usually done with court. I'm not sure about Jerry and the staff and the court counsel's office, but I'm usually okay. I don't know about you, Dustin.
You've missed the last few juvenile sessions.
What I did talk about, Judge James and I, about maybe doing the, what's that, your school to justice partnership meeting? Maybe doing it before that or after it. Yes, I see your hand, Miss Brandy.
Hey everybody. So with the 3 to 5, I'm big on being inclusive, and a lot of times people can't participate in things because of the time frame. So personally, I think to be most effective, to find a time after people get done work. So let's look at a 9 to 5 work day, and I know that may be inconveniencing to some of us, but I want to think about those parents and, you know, getting the kids settled, they're getting off work, and because that's where they are our stakeholders, in my opinion. So I want us to be considerate of those people when we're trying to schedule times for meetings, because I'm a 9 to 5 worker actually, you know, so a 3 to 5 meeting would not work for me on most days.
That's good.
But don't worry about little old me. I'm talking about for the other people who I can make it work, but for the other people who cannot do that, I would like to be considerate of those people.
So are you suggesting starting at 6:30 or 7 or 6 o'clock? What is your suggested time?
Okay, if I have to do a suggested time, I would say 6. I would say whatever the majority says, but 6 o'clock works. 6:30 works. I don't think 7, 8 o'clock meetings are effective, especially if they last long, because we've been on this call for a little while. So I don't know how I feel about running into all of everybody's evening.
I know.
So 6, I'm good with 6.
Time after 5.
With
Yeah,
6,
I'm good with 6. Yeah.
Is 6 okay for people, or would we?
And I'm trying to put my hand down, y'all, so I'm done talking.
I can do it. I'll lower your hand.
There we go.
Okay. Any other thoughts about 6 o'clock?
6 is good with me. And we're saying the third Thursday at 6 o'clock. Is that right?
I believe that's what people are throwing out there now.
Could we change it to the second or the first or the fourth Thursday?
At 6 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. Would you all want me to send out a thing to ask people what their preference would be? At 6 o'clock?
Let's do a doodle poll with the big group.
Okay, at 6.
I think that would be a good idea.
Still trying the 6 o'clock time? I'm just making sure. Or should I do multiple times of the day?
I prefer early morning meetings, but I'm weird like that. So, you know.
I'm just trying to figure out what options I need to put in the doodle poll. I don't want to give too many. You're muted, Chief West, if you're saying something deep.
I guess first, have we decided on a day? Are we doing Thursdays, the first, second, or the fourth? One of those?
That was an option.
If we decide on if we get a day kind of nailed down here, then maybe do the poll with everybody else and lay out the times, 12-hour period, pick what works best for you, and then we'll count.
So we're at the third Friday now. So the first suggestion was moved to third Thursday. Then the second suggestion, I think Mr. Jones gave us, was the second or the fourth Thursday, correct? Mr. Jones?
Yeah, any about the third.
Okay. And then we're going for 6 p.m. But I've only heard Mr. Pittman say AM. Nobody else is saying AM.
But this is Jerry Burns with You and the Justice.
Yes, sir.
Mornings work better for me as I attend court in all 3 counties in the district and get into our day. The earlier the better would work for me, but whatever the majority, will be here regardless.
So let me ask one more time. When does the School to Justice Partnership meeting, when and where does that happen?
We have not scheduled one yet. Judge James just asked me to take that over as well. And so I'll be getting that scheduled, but I have not scheduled it yet.
Okay, so does that make sense that we might coordinate these meeting times?
That group's not going to be meeting. We'll probably only be meeting quarterly right now.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't anticipate there being too much of a conflict with this.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, then so what I'm gonna do is send out a doodle poll. I've heard 2 mornings. I have not heard any other. And mornings we're speaking of as in 7, 8, or are we speaking at 10? What's the morning? Because I thought you all are 8 o'clock folks, first thing in the morning, right? 7.
I would suggest 7.
See?
But
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the office at 7, so any 7 beyond, I'm good.
I promise you I won't be nearly as much fun as 7. I'll keep that real, but I will be there if you need me to. Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, ma'am. All right. So what it seems is that we may switch the times for the next few meetings or whatever, but it seems like we're going to have to revisit this later on. I know that 7 o'clock for me, when the fall comes in and I go back to teaching, that's going to be a no-go for me. I might have classes at 8 o'clock. So I'm just asking, can we revisit it then?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So I will send a doodle poll and I will put these 3 Thursdays, 2nd Thursday, 3rd Thursday, and 4th Thursday. I will put 2 options, 6 p.m. and 7 a.m. And people will vote on those 2. Is that fair?
And when you say a doodle poll, you're talking about you're going to send a link?
Yes, yes. It's
and
just a link and
okay.
everybody puts their schedule and availability for regular meetings. Okay. So with that in mind, our next meeting will not be on the date that I wrote on our calendar. Is that okay? Or should we keep that meeting date and then plan on changing the next one?
And let's just keep that one and then change the next one.
Okay. All right. Is that okay with everybody? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay. I see everybody looks like, oh, okay. All right. So that's the plan. And then one other thing I will throw out there is that typically in the summer, people need to step away and do a vacation. So I'm expecting that will be in July or August. So we can have that discussion next time about what month you all want to have off, or any at all for that matter, because we are behind. We are behind. All right, everybody. So thank you all for a great meeting. This was really good. I learned a lot about you all this meeting, that everybody's been really polite. I didn't really get to hear this real stuff this time, so I appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, thoughts, or feel free to send them to me in an email? So I guess I need to send out one more email just with the final, letting people know that we're taking one more nomination, right? I'll send that out, and then that the final vote will be next meeting. And yes, Ms. Pierce, please call me. And I owed you a phone call.
Try to encourage more women to volunteer, please.
I will, and and I will send an email to Dr. Craig and Ms. Matthews and Mr. Judge Stackhouse about our next meeting in between, so that we know what we're doing next time. And with that, I think we're gonna wrap up unless anybody else has something big on their heart. One last thing, do you all feel comfortable with us posting this recording so everybody can see it on YouTube like normal? Okay, so everybody can see how Thorman and Norman we were. Okay. All right, well, I look forward to hearing from everybody. And so I really, really, really want to do this youth issues discussion. Might be that we need to reformat it a little differently. Because that's really what I wanted to do today, but this was good too. So we'll have to have that discussion about how we're going to deal with that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Be safe.
Bye.
Stay out of trouble. Thank you. Call me, email me, text me if you need me.
Okay. Hey, Director Foster, is there
Yes,
any
sir.
way that,
Let me hold on. Let me stop the recording.
okay.